Oh, 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 that's my old tea. I picked up the wrong mug. Supposed to pick up this one. Oh, I just drank out of this one.
Is it nearly finished?
Nah, it's like half full. Like, look.
Isn't it cold?
Oh,
Oh no.
shit.
Oh no.
An idiot. If you ever kiss me like that, Mark, I'll slap you.
It's happening. You've got to develop thick skin and you've got to be tough.
Fleur, thank you. You were the first person ever to give us a donation on one of our videos on the channel.
You just feel on cloud nine. You feel like you can't be stopped. You feel like you're immortal. You feel like you just can't lose. With the rotation system, personally, myself, I don't think it works because no matter how good you're playing or bad you're playing, everyone knows that they're going to take a seat on the bench. And I think if you're playing well, or even if I've got a guy out there that's won 5 frames, even if it's been basically by flukes or the other guys have potted balls, black balls out of turn or something like that. If he's on a hot streak, a hot run, I'm leaving him out there. If he's playing well, I'm leaving him out there. If they miss a bad ball or something like that, sure, bring them off. It's their time to sit out. But don't, if you've got a rotation system, you might need some of your best players out on the field while you're playing some of these tough teams. And the rotation system might just say, you know what, these guys have to be on the bench, and it just doesn't work. And I just honestly feel that people have tried it over the years, and I think that nothing good has ever come from it. So I don't actually know if there are any pros to it, basically, other than possibly having it, like you said, Marty, at the start, and then eventually everyone will sort of find their place. The guys that are winning, the guys that are losing, the guys that are in between, sort of 50-50, it'll all sort of take place itself. And then, the guys that are flying, let them be, and the guys that are struggling, it's nationals, or it's league pool, or, they know what they have to do to, obviously get better from there. But a rotation system, I'd like someone to tell me if it ever actually worked properly for them, I don't know.
I don't think it's a way to win a championship. I think it's a way to get everyone a game. But
Yeah.
like I said, that only kind of really matters early if you're trying to get everyone to get their hand on the table and feel at the tournament. But even within that, I think like the times that I played for Victoria, like there's almost kind of multiple tiers. Like if I kind of made a couple of teams by scraping into the last spot or the second last spot. So it'd be much more cutthroat for me. I could lose 1 or 2 frames and I'd be on the pine. Whereas Benny Noonan's in that team, he could almost lose 4 in a row and he'd still be picked to be a runner because
he's
just got he's earned that right. Like because then he could go on a run of 15 frames in a row without losing one, right? So I think once everyone's had a touch of the table. But even then, like you get opportunities to rotate. Like you never go through an entire match without losing a frame. There are opportunities.
This day and age,
there are opportunities to rotate people through. Yeah.
If you look at stats over maybe the last 10 or 15 years, I'll just speak from Victoria's point of view. Even the guys who aren't getting as many frames, they end up playing 2/3 of the frames of the tournament. Like you might play 44 frames. They're playing low, mid 20s, high 20s frames. They're playing a lot of frames. It's not like they're getting, of possible 44, they're getting 6. They're getting a lot. If you look at other pro sport teams, like they're out of like an hour of play, some players might get 5 or 10 minutes, and that's it. You don't see AFL teams or basketball teams rotating LeBron James out and,
Yeah, if he sits on the bench, it's because there's 5 minutes left and they're in front by 30. Like it's
and also it doesn't breed like thick skin. If you got to win the national championships, you got to develop thick skin and you got to be tough. Teams make finals by players shooting above 50%. So the players that are winning above 50%, you've got to look after them and leave them out there and keep them in there, because even though the guys who are shooting 30, 40% are struggling, I'm sure they'd rather make finals and struggle and be in the team, and then maybe get a frame or two in finals and try and contribute that way, than trying to get the guys who are struggling more frames, losing key matches and maybe not even making finals, or maybe miss out on the top 2 double live spot, by trying to give people who are struggling a run, and the people who are doing well potentially stopping their run. I've been in a position a few times in my early days of captaincy. I tried it a couple of times. I sat someone out that they were okay with it at the time. Good team players are like, hey, you can sit me out, give him more of a run. It never works, because what happens is the person who you sit out, it's just assumed that their run will keep going, but quite often it stops their momentum, and then they lose whatever magic they had. And the guy who's coming in for someone who's shooting 65%, who shouldn't be subbed out, the guy coming in, they feel bad. They don't feel good. They're on 30%. They're coming in for Jamie Stevens was one of the players who we did it for 1 year. He was fine with it, but he lost his form, and he was on about 65% thereabouts, and he couldn't get it back. And the person coming in, they knew that they were coming in for Jamie, and he shouldn't be subbed out, so they just felt bad, and they can't perform. If you want to get off the bench, stop making mistakes. That's as simple as it gets. Get better, stop making mistakes. And if you're a part of a team, I played one nationals once. It was my bad year at nationals. I think I was maybe shot 50%, and we made finals, and we ended up making the grand final. And I was so thankful for my team for winning all these frames that I couldn't win. And we got to play in finals. We didn't win, we come second, but I got a chance to contribute in finals. I was just thankful for my team for doing so well. I don't know if the other guys normally think like that.
Yeah, I think, Mick, I'll stretch the metaphor a little bit. The only time it works is if your goal is something other than winning. Like if it's a grassroots Divi 3 junior side and you're trying to give all the kids a go to help them fall in love with the sport, your goal is different to winning, right?
I was going to say, if everyone is equal, if everyone is equal, then it could work. But when you got a team, some that are up here and some are here and some are here, I don't think it really can work. But in that situation, then what you said, yeah, of course it can work,
You've got people also going for individual goals as well.
Yeah, that's right.
It could be, nationals or prems or first, second, third div or whatever. They've all got, best player of the league. And some people, it's their goal to reach that, or maybe not win it, but maybe try and get in the top 10 and then the top 5 and then the top 3 and then come first. And then you move on. That's how you progress. And there's nothing wrong with that. But if you've got a team full of guys who they don't really mind it. If they make finals, it's a bonus. No one's really going for any individual stats or whatever. And there's a 6-man team and there's 7 or 8 of them. And they'll go, hey, look, let's just do a rotation system. We're all just here. We're all just having fun. This is just a night out. Then that's totally fine. Then that's no problem. But everyone's got to be in. It's all in or nothing. It's got to be unanimous.
Correct.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, I've got a few shout-outs to do this week, gents. Let me just get stuck straight into them. First off, I want to give a shout-out to Fleur Williamson. Fleur, thank you. You were the first person ever to give us a donation on one of our videos on the channel. $23 on one of our videos. I can't tell you how much we appreciate it. We love it. Like that, we'll go and have a coffee on that money. Really appreciate your support. It was really lovely to kind of get that. So thank you. Very much appreciated.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Frame it.
We will. Actually, we will. I might print that out and put it up in the 8 Ball FM office when we get an office.
Can we have the coffee
I'll hang
first?
it up on the wall there.
Okay, we'll have the coffee. Yes.
I have the receipt.
Yeah, that's right.
We'll frame the receipt.
We'll frame the receipt.
Thank you.
The next one's a bit of a personal one. My father-in-law plays B grade snooker, and he was in a team at the Reservoir Falcons in the Diamond Valley Snooker Association. Won the grand final against the Darwin Marshalls. So well done, Val, and to the rest of the team. It was good to see you get a win. I played with them a year ago and won the grand final. And there's been a season in between where they actually finished the bottom of the table in that season in the middle and came back up again. It's a handicap league. That one. So handicaps always fluctuate up and down.
Love a handicap.
But good to see them get the win. Well done, boys.
Good stuff.
And the last one's a bit of a sad one. I just want to acknowledge that after the Nationals, there was a man playing for Northern Territory, Jim Crosby, and he was travelling home to Darwin with his family after the Nationals and tragically passed away in an accident on the way home to Darwin. And for people in the community, they might have seen a post from NT 8-Ball out on Facebook, and just want to pass on our condolences to Jim's family and the NT 8-Ball community. Terrible accident. So yeah, we're all thinking of you.
Yeah.
We're sorry to hear about that one.
Just a shout out to my brother Neil for losing to Judd in the semis, making me correct over Marty. Cheers, Neil.
Now,
one for the team.
We better. Everyone wants to have a bit of context here. So should we play the tape?
No, just cut
You
it.
got it
there.
ready.
Mark wants to. Mark wants to see the tape. Here we go. The surprise for me was Judd Trump is the favourite for the UK Championship. His last win was the UK Championship last year. He's been playing with a different cue and hasn't gone well. So I was very surprised to see him the favourite.
Who would you have number one?
Probably Neil. Neil is miles in front on the 1 year list.
Judd's still number one in the rankings. He's still the best player in the world, has been for 5 years. He's had a quiet 12 months by his standards. But he should definitely still be the number one favourite, because if you were to pick one person, so let's say you choose Neil and I choose Judd, and you to run it 10 times right now, Judd goes further than Neil on average. Long race tournament, Marty. I think if you look at longer race tournaments, I think Judd results. Judd does better.
And maybe that's why Selby's up there as well.
I love Selby in long race tournaments.
We'll look back at this in a couple of weeks and we'll see how
we'll
it's
have a
all
side
panned out.
bet, Marty. Selby, Judd, Neil. I think mentioned the people in
Judd,
there.
Neil. So I better eat some humble pie in that one. You're clearly a much better judge.
Well, here's the
that
thing.
one.
Like, I think what made me respond so much to that was so often, probably more so in 8-Ball, definitely more so in 8-Ball than snooker. People assume whoever won the tournament was the best player there. There's a very good chance they were not. They just right place at the right time with short race 8-Ball. So I hear it a lot, and it agitates me. I think there are players who don't get their especially someone like Nationals. Some people have a horrible run, some people have a great run, and people just assume whoever does high on the stats, they were the best players in the room, and it's not necessarily the case. And with Judd, I think he was when he made that final, he's the only player this season to make 3 finals. So he can't
right.
he can't be that. This is his 3rd final. He's the only player to make 3 finals. So he's not doing that bad. So he was like two frames short of winning this one, 1 frame short against Lazowski, and there was another final he obviously lost in. I don't know what that was, Champion in Champions maybe or something. I'm not sure. So he's doing all right. He's still number one.
Can I make an observation and also have a follow-up question for you? So the observation was, in that clip, I commented that Judd had been using another cue. So he did use another cue for a little while, but I understand he's gone back to his original cue and did so for this tournament. And obviously had an excellent run. A high-quality final. I don't know if you call it the final. Very high-quality final.
Yeah, I watched most of it. I was at 7-3, and then I saw you post the results in the notes to spoil it, so I'm not even going to bother watching the rest. So really avoided.
I didn't post it in the channel. I was hoping. I just assumed that you didn't read the notes, honestly.
I read the notes every time, Marty. Make sure you're doing a good job and everything's in line.
Excellent. Thank you.
If you don't hear from me, that means you're doing a good job.
Okay.
That's what I tell Brandon, my guys who work for me.
Oh yeah. My question was, because you made a comment in that clip about long race tournaments. My question was I just wanted to get your thoughts on the race distances here, because Neil lost in the semis in a race to 6. The final was a race to 10. Like, it was a massive jump up. But I think the matches throughout the tournament were all race to 6, and suddenly the final was a race to 10.
Well, if you look at the so Judd is still a better player than Selby. I think Selby's amazing, by the way. Like, geez, I probably don't rate any player higher than him when he's at his best.
Then why did you pull out on the bet?
Well, that's a whole other story. That's a funny one, actually. But if you were to look at this, I think Selby was 6-2 up. So if it remained as 6-2, it was a very one-sided match. But when it went raced to 10, it got back to 10-8. And if it was raced to 13 or 15, like the world titles, maybe Judd overtakes him, you know. So race to 6 is good. But there's a big difference between race to 6 and 10.
Yeah, I guess I was just surprised about the jump. Like, often we'll see in a pool tournament in Australia, if the races get longer, they kind of get longer by 1 frame each kind of round. But to have this kind of be race to 6 for the entire tournament up through the end of the semis, but then suddenly the final was an extra 4 frames for the win, just seemed like a big jump to me.
Do you think that's a good thing?
I would build it up. Because I think from the quarters onwards, so like, let's say if it's raced to 6 the whole way through, make quarters race to 7, semis race to 8, final race to 10, something like that.
I think the way that they do it is it's just based on the reason they did it that way is because it's based on the number of sessions that they can fit on the TV. So each session is a block of 8 frames. Okay. So in a race to 6, you can kind of have like a 1-session match. And then if the finals are 2-session matched, you don't just want an extra 1 or 2 frames, you want an extra bunch of frames to fill out the time on TV.
That makes sense. That's fair enough, I think.
Yeah. All right. Now, we had a chat with Barney Boy recently, and Mick happened to miss that, but he's since kind of listened to the episodes. There's a couple of observations that you made, Mick, so I just wanted to ask you about that. One was just on, there was a particular comment where Jamie asked Barney about playing in the team grand finals straight after playing in the singles final. And obviously you've been in 3 Australian finals, you've won 2 of them, so you've got as much experience on doing that as anyone. I think. I don't know if you played in the Open final in all 3 of those occasions. Certainly, yeah. So tell us your thoughts on playing in the teams event just after you've played in the singles final.
Well, I'll go with the first one, the first Australian title I won. Obviously, over the moon, in tears, rang my parents. Just all the time I spent down at Potters and playing people, everything, it all just. It's like a weight lifted off my shoulder, getting my first Australian title. Absolutely over the moon. You feel like you were the best player for the whole 2 weeks in a way, and you just feel on cloud 9. You feel like you can't be stopped. You feel like you're immortal. You feel like you just can't lose. And then you head out into a teams event wanting to win and thinking, well, I've just spent the last 10, 11, 12 days playing singles matches and haven't lost. I'm going to win 4 tonight. You go out there and you are actually, you want to try, but you're actually mentally drained, for one. And you think you're giving it your all, but you're actually quite tired. You're sort of not thinking straight, and you sort of try and trick yourself into believing that everything's okay. And I felt when I was out there, the more I tried and the more I wanted to try and win, I just couldn't. And I ended up losing my first couple when I was out there. And before you know it, you start thinking, man, I'm actually now letting my team down. And it can be a funny thing. Like, I lost all 4 that night and walked away. Like, we ended up losing the grand final as well against New South Wales. And I actually felt really bad, but I felt like I was giving it my all, but I wasn't playing like I felt like I was playing good pool, but if you look back, I don't think I was playing good pool, and I think a lot of that was due to being actually mentally drained, but also, I put some notes here, feeling like you could lose. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I felt like I couldn't lose in a way, but as we all know, you're playing against a good side, a great side with great players, and you can lose those frames very, very quickly. But yeah, I don't know. I was just sorry.
Tell us about the timing of the day. So because the singles final is normally kind of mid-afternoon, early
Yeah,
evening, and then
yeah.
the
So that
grand
one,
finals later in
yeah.
the day. So how much time do you get? Like the singles final is finished. How much time have you got to just process that
I
before
think
you've
we
got to
went
gather around
to
with the team?
Yeah, I think we went to lunch, like, because you normally played sort of around lunch or morning, like, it was sort of like 10 or 11 o'clock, I think it was, somewhere around there, and then obviously the final would go for a few hours, 2 hours, 3 hours, something like that, and then you've got probably about 4 or 5 hours in between that, I think, to go have lunch, shower, get ready for your team's match, and then you gotta sort of get hyped up again and do it all over again. Now, everyone else that's obviously not playing the singles, all they're doing is waiting for their chance to go out and play in a teams event, where I've gotten up in the morning at like 8 in the morning. I've prepped myself. I've mentally prepared myself to try and do well in a singles tournament. I've thought about it the night before. I'm mentally preparing for this one match, and then I go out there, I do it, I perform, I come back to the room, I sort of pass out, thinking I friggin' did it, and then you go out, you go to have lunch, and you come back and you have another shower, and you're like, I've now got to get mentally prepared to do all this again, to go out for the teams event. And it is hard. It is really, really hard. For those that have been there and done it, they'll understand what I'm saying. But the ones that haven't, imagine playing a massive final or something that's so important in the morning or an hour or two before your team's event, and then have to get G'd up again 2 times in a row. It's absolutely brutal, and I think, they could do it on separate days, but at the end of the day, there's only so much time, and I'd prefer to have nationals over a week than over, 14 days or something like that. So if I have to play a singles one in the morning and play teams event at night, well, I guess I'm just lucky. I mean, not everyone actually gets the opportunity, for one, to be in a singles final and have a chance to win it, and two, being a teams final. I'm just lucky enough to be in Victoria, where, I'm surrounded by some great players, a lot of great players, and we get to make semis and finals, and we're always at the business end a lot of the times, and I got to be grateful for that as well. So I got to see the bigger picture. I got to see the pros, and not just, things that can, you know, the negative things too. So
And as much as it's difficult for you, and it might have been better for you had those finals been on 2 separate days. As a viewer, it's compelling viewing, having just seen someone play in the singles final have to front up to the teams final, and if they lose, it's a moment, right? They're like, oh my god, they just won the singles, but now they're losing a frame in the teams event.
yeah,
So it does actually create a bit of drama and effect for the teams event to
Ricky
see how
Emery.
they cope with that.
Ricky Emery actually struggled in the teams final. He won the singles. Very, very tough year. Nationals, that one, 2018, I think. Ricky played very well in the singles and throughout the whole thing. And then the teams really struggled in the finals. It was real bad. Yeah.
I think the one important thing I would actually take out of it, if that ever happened again, would be not to take it for granted that I'm just going to win because I won the singles. I felt like I won the singles. I'm the best player in the room at the time. I'm now playing a teams event, which is completely different. So don't just assume that you're going to go out there and people are going to fold and you're going to win and you're going to go get your high fives. No, people are out there to get you and get their high fives, and I learned that really quick. Not that I let my guard down, but I actually think I did, So it's we all learn from these things, and yeah, it's a lesson learned. Just don't let your guard down. Just one frame pool. We all know how to play it.
Yeah, well done again to Barney. He was runner-up in the singles, so I guess he was still hungry, but managed to get that winning black.
Yeah.
for
Yeah,
Queensland.
I feel for the guy. I watched that whole thing today as well, and Barney's a nice guy, and I've never had a bad word to say about the guy. He's always got time for people when he decides to talk. So, but yeah, I think he'll get one day. Definitely, he's got the hunger for it. And a part of me listening to this whole thing today, I'm actually going to do a bit of practice tonight, because last week on a Tuesday night, I tried to pot 10 balls in a row on a 7-foot table and I missed them all. And I'm like, I actually need to, I need to practice, you know, I've always practiced to get where I am, but if I don't practice, I'm not that great. And I'm going to do the 15 across. I'm going to set that up after this podcast, and I'm going to try and at least get 4 or 5 in a row, and then just do it tomorrow and do it the next day. And my goal is actually just to do the 15 across on my table, whether it takes me a week or a month. I'm gonna do it and just get back into a little bit of form. Just, I don't know why I want to do it, but I'm gonna do it.
If you've got I don't know if you've got a link to that one on your
I do,
channel.
yeah.
Yeah. So we'll send the link to me after the show. We'll put that link in the show notes so people can see what 15 across looks like. Very tough drill. But a good one for if you're going to play at elite level, a good one to kind of make sure your queuing's right.
Yeah, it's just repetitive stuff, just repetitive. I'm queuing. I'm not queuing straight at the moment, and I know Mark doesn't know what I'm talking about, but at the moment, I'm queuing. I'm queuing. I think I'm siding. I think my eyes are starting to go, and I think I need to bring the queue over here. I've got to work it out because I'm queuing across the ball at the moment. It's still my head in.
Sounds awful.
I can tell you that's very hard to shift your sighting. I can tell. I've tried. I've tried to do that a little bit as my eyes have changed over the years.
I wish there was a tournament, and the criteria is you're not allowed to have picked up a cue for 4 months. And you start your match. That's the first time you get your cue out in 4 months.
I'll ref.
Gus,
Gus is pretty good at that. Actually,
yeah, I was about to say Gus might give me a run in that department. He's pretty good at just picking up the cue and playing. You wouldn't know he's had time off. Actually, Gus often actually gets better when he stops playing. It's weird. Sometimes when he plays, well, maybe that's what inspires me.
I find sometimes a break from playing gets you to focus on simplicity again. Like when you play all the time, you think, I can make this elaborate. I can come off there and I ran 3 rails and I'll land in this position. But when you don't play for a while, you're like, I just need to just keep it simple.
It's like being sick. When you're sick, you concentrate on just actually playing the pool. And yeah.
All right. Now, we actually don't have too much pool stuff today, but we're going to talk. We did touch on the snooker. We're going to try and bring up a couple of snooker things here. And where am I going now? I'm going to cut over to the Judd Trump versus Mark Selby match. Unfortunately, when I pause it, it goes kind of a darkish.
So
overlay.
You see how far his bridge is. How long his bridge is there. So based on the length of that, all his cue power will completely disappear because he's not going to hit it with his. Oh God, my camera keeps adjusting. He's not going to hit. Oh, my camera's following me. You want your arm to be straight when you're hitting the ball.
Show us what he means, Mick. Show us your arm, Mick.
There we go. So you want your arm to be there when you're hitting it. If that bridge is like that much too further, instead of hitting it there, he's hitting it there, which is, you can get away with that if you're in the balls or something. If you're in the balls, you can get away with it. But if you're playing a long shot, what's Mick doing?
He's showing
that's where he's hit it. That's where he's hit it. That's what you're saying there. But you need to hit it there.
Yeah. Yes.
And he's hitting it there.
And then you're hitting it.
So he's coming in.
You're hitting it with the most amount of power. And then you're being able to follow through on the shot and drive through the white. And that's when you need cue power. So because his bridge length is so long, he's hitting it on a follow through. He's lost all the cue power, all the touch, everything like that is all completely gone. And then there's a very good chance he's put accidental side on it due to that. So if I'm Mark's coach here and everything, you've got to really accept the fact that with a bridge length that long, you can still take the pot on but you need to do something different with the white. It's not a pot and screw back to bog. It's not a pot and screw back for a nice green. Sorry, for a
Is it
nice
like
blue.
a top?
If I'm him there, no, if I'm him there, I'm doing a soft screw pot. I'm backing myself and I'm playing a green to the top left. The blue to the top left, or potentially even dropping it in and trying to land on the black. But the way he's played it was no chance. Absolutely no chance.
Let's watch what happens again. Here we go.
And even rewind it more. So go back to where
he
you
missed it by a long way.
So, and now forward one click. There we go.
Sorry.
A shot. No, you had it right.
Oh, you wanted this one? Yeah.
Yeah. So a shot that I think you would find Selby running this 10 times, the correct shot, because he's actually the best person I've seen at these, is white ball off 2 rails and bump the red on the bottom rail from underneath. I'd sooner rather see him play either that or just back yourself to knock that red in at a nice pace, maybe try and land on the black, or a soft screw or stun, maybe even a soft stun into the pink and try and land on the pink. Because playing it the way he did, trying to screw the white back up in the bulk and all that, it's not going to work. If the white
he's missed it. He's missed it by a long way.
If the white was that much closer to the top
Yeah.
rail, fine, he can play this shot because he can strike it normally.
Yeah, this red hits the side cushion a foot up the side rail.
Great matches.
Send me 10,000 pound Selby and we'll call it square. Yeah, so he can stun that into the pink or screw to the right hand side and play long blue to the top left. Commit to something. He's trying to do everything on this shot. It's not a Selby shot either. It's a Sean Murphy or a Judge shot.
Oh, is he going to fluke it? The one's going.
All right, now I'm going to jump forward a bit here because there's another shot that we want to see, which is this shot here. We want a slightly better view of it. Here we go.
Oh, I love what happens here. This sequence here.
Yeah, I was going to say, so this is Judd's looking at this black to the corner pocket just at the bottom right of the video frame there. And he spends a long time looking at it. So the question is this on or not? And I think he gets down on the shot 2 or 3 times and decides it's not on. And do we want to just see what happens? You can talk us through it if you like, Mark, because it'll go for 30 seconds while Judd thinks about it.
Yeah.
I think he can,
Can you turn this down or not?
Yeah.
The real commentator's talking. So what I like about this so much is not him trying to decide if it's on or not. What I love is the process. There is seriously so much to learn from what Judd does over this next minute. He's looked at option A. He really wants to play the black. He can't quite decide. What's an option B? That's now ticking away in the back of his mind. Okay, there's something I can do with that yellow. So it's the black or the yellow. So now he's got it down to 2 options, black or the yellow. He's having another look at it. He's deciding, geez, I really want to play the black. God, can I just make it on somehow? You know what? I can't fully commit to the black. I'm not sure. I don't know if I'm going to strike it right. There's a lot to do. So I'm going to fully commit to this yellow. No safeties. I'm going to back myself. I'm going to knock in the yellow. It's the correct shot. I've looked at my other options. This is the one I can fully commit to. Where the black, it would be maybe, maybe not. And because he was able to fully commit to it and he's worked out that that is the correct shot, it's obviously a very hard shot and he's gone full-blooded, but it's okay because he's worked out through his process that there was no safety. The black he couldn't commit to it. Maybe he could, maybe he couldn't. So then he's chosen the one shot that he could commit to, the aggressive hard shot that he's now worked out is the right shot. So that process that he's done in that 1 minute, that's what I took out of that. And anyone else watching this, that is the proper process to working out between option A or B.
Yeah, and executed it just superbly, right in the process. Ball with a big chance.
He didn't have 2 minds on the shot. He wasn't feathering, going, "Oh, I don't know about this. I shouldn't be doing this." He's worked out that this is the right shot. And that's one of the reasons why he knocked it in, other than just being awesome.
All right, and we're going to jump to another moment.
He's found a shot that he can fully commit to, basically.
Yeah, and almost it's almost like a free go at it because there was no safety. There was no other shot. He'd worked out that this is the right shot, and it was a really hard one and probably loses the frame if he misses. But it's almost like there's permission granted in your brain to be able to play that.
Right.
This one here, Q power.
I'll just let Judd enter the frame so we can see what's going on here. So notice he's playing this right-handed. Judd's a left-handed snooker player, so he's going to play this red into the bottom left corner pocket. Do you want me to just play the video, Mark?
Well, but before you watch it, this goes in the same bracket as Selby's technique mistake with trying to do too much with a foreign shot. I'm sure Judd would destroy me with his wrong hand, and he'd probably beat half the players on the tour playing wrong-handed. But how many times does he play a shot when you watch it, play with such Q power and deep screw, and can't fully commit to the shot because as he's down on it, he's probably feeling a bit funny about it, so he can't properly commit to the shot as he did that yellow. Judd's probably got arguably the most amount of Q power in the world, but with his wrong hand, clearly not. And you'll see here.
Let's watch this shot.
Oh my God. So if you rewind that,
and
after
he jumps up off the. Yeah, I'm wondering if they're going to replay it. I'll just let it play for a second. See if
look
they
how
replay it.
high the Q ends up in the air. I think his hand lift off the table. His Q's up in the air and everything. So
watch this replay. Watch him jump off the table. See
what an amateur does.
Do that again. Yeah. Watch his head lift up as he plays the shot. You can kind of.
I think so. That's if you put all the balls in the same position, but the white on the other side, he plays that fine, correct-handed, and there's no issue. You can screw back off that. But that goes in the same bracket as the Selby one. Like if I'm in Judd's corner now, we're going, okay, we either need to work on your Q power with your wrong hand, but that shot literally comes up once a season. It's not worth putting in the time and effort to do that. Let's make sure we make the pot, try and cannon the black open. And if we don't do that, then we're playing safe. That's what he should have done there. But in his natural aggressive style and all that, it's one of the reasons why he's so good. He took the aggressive option. But yeah, I'm looking at it now. I'd rather see him play that with top spin, cannon into that red, probably half ball, and then try and play a long blue or green to top right. And there's no reds up the other end of the table. And look where that brown's positioned. Such a good ball to lay a snooker off. Like you can come off blue or green and go behind pink and brown. As long as you make this pot, you protect your 42-point lead. So you're protecting your 32-point lead. You kill brown to side rail and leave the white at the top, leaving Selby 30 points behind with a hard safety and yellow and brown dead. And that's if you don't land on the black. These are just, I don't know how much these guys think about all this stuff, but it's a lot of the things I see.
Yeah, I think he's just naturally so aggressive, Judd. So it's very difficult for him to refuse that kind of shot. The other unusual thing about Judd is, even though he's a left-hander, he plays his rest shots right-handed. So he's kind of on the wrong side of the table for a rest shot as well.
Yeah.
So there's not a natural spot for him to get a good body position and play a rest shot either. So that's a bit of a Judd quirk that a lot of other players don't have.
This just might be one of those times you don't even go for the pot. Maybe you play the red sort of third closest to the left-hand side of the table. You play that quarter ball with right-hand side, white off 4 rails, but behind the green, brown, and pink. Maybe it's not his style,
Pink,
though.
yeah,
it's not his style.
Yeah, it's a big target, isn't it?
Yeah,
I agree. And we've got one more bit of Q power by comparison. Where am I going to here?
Selby's shot. It wasn't a hard shot, but when you find it, look how he stays down on the shot, times it beautifully. Yeah, this one here.
Yeah, it's this pink. Yeah.
Yep. I won't need to say much about.
So what? Yeah, I'll just try and set up. I guess the question here is Selby's slightly wrong side of the pinky, so he can't get to the red on the bottom cushion. And really, the question is, he's going to pop this pink. How is he going to get position on another red, and I'll just leave it at that, and we'll watch the shot get played.
If you turn the volume up, it sounds good.
Pretty stripe. He's looking at the red into the left center. She's going to screw in and out of balk. That would be some shot. Well, maybe he is. Screw off the side cushion, past the middle pocket. Watch this. Watch the cue ball here. Look at this for a shot. Has he hit it too well?
You see how flat
He's playing for it in the middle. He's got it perfectly into
see
the
the
corner.
Q-tip. That was actually a good angle there.
Incredible
If you
shot.
rewind it to there, after he plays the shot, his tip is almost like on the table.
This is the replay with it.
He's got it perfectly
Look at that.
into the
Yeah.
corner.
And the tip actually only comes off
And if
the
I
table
go,
on like some sort of secondary follow through.
yeah, and I'll go back to the this is the original, the first version of it. So we're looking down the line of the shot, and you can see how still he stays in this version of it.
Before you play it, you'll see
Maybe he is.
you'll
Screw.
you'll see the white, because it looks like, oh, what if he goes in off there or hits the jaw? He's not going to, because he's playing with bottom left. The white is going to like flick off to the side with all the spin. So you'll see the white when it screws back, it actually like jumps off to the side a little bit, avoiding the center pocket jaw.
Here we go.
You can see how far over he is as
Maybe
well.
is. Screw off the side cushion, past the middle pocket. Watch this. Watch the cue ball here. Look at this for a shot. Has he hit it too well? Well, he's playing for it in the middle. He's got it perfectly into the corner.
So pretty much
Incredible shot.
what I want people to understand with this is if you're playing a shot, especially in snooker, you don't really have too much in 8-ball. But even in 8-ball, if you're playing shots and you find the cue going up into the air, you're dropping your shoulder and all these things, that's you now have hit your limit with your cue power, and you need to go back, do some drills, practice the limit of your cue power with keeping your shoulder up. It's about the shoulder. Your elbow will only drop if your shoulder drops. So people think it's the elbow dropping. It's the shoulder dropping. Keep the shoulder tucked in behind your neck. Like keep the shoulder up and striking.
Lovely, thank you. Look, very interesting stuff on the snooker. It's nice to analyze a bit of snooker actually, and see how you can even learn some lessons from that, some decision making lessons and some cueing lessons, and bring them across to your 8-ball game. I want to talk to you guys about the Mosconi Cup. The Mosconi Cup was just on. This was Europe versus the USA in 9-ball.
Mosconi
And
circus.
it's just gone. Yeah, it's just gone a little bit crazy. I'm going to show you. Okay, so let's start at the end. So Europe's won again. I think they've won 16 out of the last, something ridiculous. 16 out of 19 Mosconi Cups now. Congratulations to Team Europe on winning the Mosconi Cup. But there's a few moments that I think were
Where
just
was
a
it
little
played?
bit crazy.
Where
So
was the location?
do not know the answer to that. I'll just show you a couple of things that have been talked about a bit on social media. This was shot somewhere in the middle of the tournament, and we're playing the green ball to the top right pocket. Here we
So
go.
he's tried to on triple it. How does that go in? That green is like that far off the rail.
You can hold
Here we
the
go.
cue ball in the middle of the table.
It's hit the balk line. It's hit the cushion on the balk line. I'll just go back for you again. Here we go. Watch where the balk line is on the side cushion.
The cue ball in the middle of the
If you look at his
table.
body language, he knows in a way he felt like he's missed it. You know when you 10-pin
Yeah.
bowl and the ball sort of goes
He
too
did.
far the wrong way, and you're sort of moving over like this to try and make the ball hit the pin, but you know,
And then it bounces out of the gutter and you get a strike.
yeah, yeah, they're good. That's crazy. Have they done something with the pockets?
Well, I'm going to show you the next shot. You think the pockets are big. They weren't
we've all
big for
played
Tyler
9-ball.
Steyer.
And at that pace, they can drop like that. I don't know if they've opened the pockets up even more, being a TV table. You know, look,
But-
9-ball players,
It was
it's just crazy.
off the rail by a lot.
Yeah, that's right. And like I said, it's hit the balk line is halfway, like it's halfway up the rail that it's hit the side rail and it's still going out. So you think the pockets are big, but spare a thought for Tyler Steyer.
Take a little cut on the 9.
That was a good pot. I'll give him that.
Why don't you screw back? Why don't you just drop it in with a soft stun? You can drag that firm, and it will stop the white for the 9 to the top left.
So much to him. But how much pressure is there on this 9-ball? This for the match.
Put too long on it. His teammates. Look, to be fair, that's a very missable 9.
You got a feel for Tyler. He succumbed to the pressure. That to answer your question, why didn't he say? They did say in commentary that was probably the correct shot, to screw back a little bit and give yourself the cut. I think there was a slight bit of angle, so you might have approached too close to the 9-ball.
Can you wear earbuds
But yeah, that was it.
to drown out the crowd?
I don't know.
Yeah, that
Yeah, that's an interesting question. Like
crowd's
that.
insane. Like that's real full on. That is, balls of steel to play in front of that crowd.
Sounds like fun though.
And the last one I wanted to show you. This is
If you're winning.
This is the winning frame for the Mosconi Cup. Europe to play and win the Mosconi Cup. Scotch doubles. Pro players at the top of their game. And there was an unusual moment here that happened. I am, yeah. I'll just let it play, and
Players at the top of their game.
I'll see what your reaction is to what happens here.
Oh, of course, it's a Shaw and Van Boning. I haven't seen this, by the way.
It's the Europeans that are winning this. This is Shaw, Jason Shaw, and David Alcaide.
History could happen in a few moments. Only 2 players have ever plotted the winning 9-ball 3 times. Johnny Archer is one.
2 balls left.
Is another. Jason Shaw could be about to join that very exclusive club. It was David Alcaide's moment to put the winning 9 the last time we were here 2 years ago. This time,
What does he need help with?
He was annoyed.
What
He
do
was
you need
annoyed
help
that
with?
Jason was over at his chair.
David wanted Jason to come out and tell him what line he wanted to take because he was a little straight. Needs to run.
He come over there.
He kissed him on the cheek.
He come over there.
This is more interesting that
like you see him like pointed out like what are you talking about? Do this, you idiot.
Yeah, this really surprised me. Like there's like neither of these balls are difficult. There's the 8 and the 9 left. And like I say, pro player, he's just got to pop the ball and give Jason Shaw a shot on the 9.
I love how it comes over and points it out like within half a second what to do.
This time, it looks like he's going to be in the setup role.
Steve?
A little bit of work to do here.
Yeah, David wanted Jason to come out and tell him what line he wanted to take because he was a little straight. Needs to run.
Look at his cue action.
Yeah, I am really fascinated by that, and like you guys have played a lot of Scotch doubles together, and one of the things that I hear you talk about is when you're in tune with your partner, you're not asking about how to play position on the balls. And I actually saw a lot of this in the Mosconi Cup where the players would play Scotch doubles, and they'd play a shot, and then they'd point to an area on the table where they wanted the other player to put the white for the next shot. I just find that in a situation whether the mapping is quite clear, if it's a particularly difficult shot, I can get that you might have a conversation about the options. But like in this particular case, like that seems outrageous to me.
Yeah. If I'd like to be in a certain area, like I prefer a certain area over another, I would say to Mark, I'd prefer to be over here. I'm not going to tell you how to play. Just try and get me over here and we'll go from there. But I'm not going to sort of tell him exactly how to play the shot because I might play the shot differently to what he does. So just I will point to an area. Look, I like it over here. I don't care how you get me there. Just get me around there and I'll play my shot. So
Top right, 73% power, and I need the white to land on that bit of fluff.
And the other thing I just wanted to point out is I'm going to let this play through to the end now. This seems to be a tradition in the Mosconi Cup. I'll just let this play. This
I'm
is
assuming
the
he
winning
pots the
ball for
nine,
Mosconi
but
Cup.
maybe he misses it.
No more surprises.
kick. Oh, massive kick.
Party is about to start. Because for the 6th year in a row, and the 18th time, they have won.
Oh, they jump on the table.
This is the
There you
thing
go.
that I find strange. Yeah. It's a real tradition in the Mosconi Cup that I'm not sure if I like it or not. Like, you know, they make it a bit of theatre. It's a thing that they always do.
I don't want one of them to fall
I
off.
think to myself, well, that cloth's ruined, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Mosconi
For
Cup.
me, it feels a little bit more about almost more about the theatrics and the circus and the carrying on more than the actual game itself now. But maybe the rest of the world likes it. I don't know.
Like the darts.
Maybe it's the one tournament.
Yeah,
where
and look,
actually you can actually do that.
and like I always say, I appreciate people having a go at stuff. So I love that they're trying something and they're trying a form. They're trying to get the crowds into it. I don't know if you saw any of the press conferences they had, but they had the players from both teams in a press conference sledging each other live in the press conference.
Oh, like the UFC.
Yeah.
They're really trying to make it yeah. So like I appreciate that they're having a go. I'm not sure if I love it or not, but you know.
Yeah, I don't mind the player banter and the crowd when you're out there playing and maybe having a few drinks or whatever you want to do. You know, I suppose I want to be winning as well, because if you're losing, it's a hard pill to swallow with the crowd being against you. Like even that last shot, Jason, like there's probably 1% of him going, I better get this. Like I've got to make sure I get this, because if I don't, man, the crowd is just, the roof is going to come down. So like just concentrate and knock it in.
I found it a bit surprising that David Alcady was like, Jason, come over and tell me how to play this shot. And then when Jason's down on the shot to win the whole tournament, he's jumping up and down with his hands in the air, not worried at all about Jason's shot. All right. Now I've got a couple more things that I just want to get a reaction from you guys on. So, the first one is I'm going to go back to the snooker here. So there was a moment in the match between Neil Robertson and Pang Junxu. You can see the scores down here, 54.
I heard about this, but I haven't seen it.
Behind with 4. Yeah, so essentially Pang Junxu needs 3 snookers to win this match, and I'll just play from here and we'll watch what happens.
7.
Excellent shot, by the way. Like all credit to him. Yeah, great snooker.
Yeah, that's a great shot.
He's definitely not given up just yet. And that was one of the best shots he's played today.
Top of the table from Neil there. I like that.
Shot.
I like when they show.
An easy
Yeah.
hit, this one. So Neil, I won't be concerned just yet, but if he does miss this and he's paying red-black, he could find himself in trouble again on his next visit to the table. So as I always say, you just never know.
So Neil could miss this and make sure the white's at the top end of the table.
4.
Why is it the black?
Pang Junxu 7.
This could be a free ball. I think it is. Oh, would you believe
And
it?
the free ball.
Pang Junxu can now win.
So just to recap what happened there, he's 11 points behind. Neil's hit the black, so it's a 7-point foul, and he's left a free ball.
How's it a free ball when you can see the red?
That's a brown.
You need to be able to.
Oh, is it a brown? Sorry.
Yes, this is a brown.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's 2 reds at the bottom 12. So he's you know, it's sometimes it's even surprising to see them come back to the table needing 3 snookers. But yeah, he played a good one, and yeah, really unusual situation there. And Peng Junsu goes on to clear the table for the win in that frame. So
Can we see the shot again that Neil has?
certainly, let's go back. Do you want me to
So
play?
I'm just trying to work out. So he needs 3 snookers. So if Neil plays this soft for aiming for the red on the left-hand side, so if he misses it, he can't give away any. He can't give away a free ball, and he can't give away additional points. The free ball's the killer.
That's right.
So if he misses it, you're not going to miss it underneath and accidentally hitting the black. That's just not going to happen. So if you miss it, you're going to miss it on the left-hand side, meaning that Pang won't have a shot on a red because the black's blocking the red to the bottom right, and the white will be high traveling towards the pink on the left. So he won't have a pot. And it's actually very hard for him to lay a snooker, the white under the black, because there's 2 reds under the black. So I think Neil should have played it just white off 1 or 2 rails, aiming for the red on the left-hand side. And if you miss it, you're only traveling maybe like a foot past it. I just don't see how you lose the frame.
So you're thinking side rail bottom cushion and getting the red on the way back up. Is that what you're thinking?
I'm prioritizing hitting it full or to the left-hand side. I'm not sure why he played it with pace. So I'd like to ask him. He won the match, so I can ask him. It's okay.
Yeah, well, let's see where he hits the side cushion here. I'm not sure that the angle's on.
Basically, if you're going to
foul
foul
as well.
So he's just going for separate. So a problem is
free ball.
A problem is with separation there. A problem is with separation there. It means that if you leave Pang on, so Pang can pot. Let's say he lands on the red that he's hitting. Pang can pot that and say pot the pink or the black, and then lay a good snooker off the bottom red that's under the black. So that's no good. If you get separation and hit that red, say up the table. So let's say he comes off 2 rails and hits the red up the table. Pang now has a good snooker on this red below the black. So I think that you want to actually keep both the reds down the bottom end here. And it also makes it much harder for Pang to get a snooker if they're both there. If Pang sends the white up the top end of the table, it's very hard to protect 2 reds that are 2 feet apart. So I'm not sure of the thought process there.
It looks to me like he's playing it with some running side here. So maybe he needs to do that. Like I can't tell him. Maybe he can't get far enough down the cushion to get the natural angle, so he needs to play it with side.
You can play the same.
He's just been incredibly unlucky to leave.
He wants movement. He wants movement with the black ball.
Well, he's not really been unlucky. He's not really been unlucky because if you think about if he misses the red, the white's going to be potentially traveling up towards that pink and brown, and he's played it with such a pace where the white's going to end up in bulk if it doesn't hit another ball, potentially leaving a free ball. I can think of probably about 4 or 5 cons with the way he's played the shot, and I can't think of one pro. But I would love, he's the pro, I'm not the pro, but I would love to hear what he thought about it. And you know, a very good response is, you know what, I'm 5-1 up, he needs 3 snookers. Honestly, I'm just trying to hit the red. I don't think I'm going to miss it. And I didn't really actually put much thought into it. That's probably the honest answer.
And Neil's been incredibly unlikely to leave a free ball too, right? Like you would think that because these, if he didn't hit the black, he's probably going to come back up to the top left of table and not leave a free ball. In which case he gets put back and he has another swing at it, right? Like he gets closer the second time.
You can't get put back. He needs snookers.
Oh, because he needs snookers. Yes, you're right.
That's why I'm saying.
Yeah, so maybe if he misses,
that's why I'm saying you play it more dead way. Because if you miss it, it's fine. The threat of losing this frame is this exact shot. I wouldn't be scared about the next one. Have a go trying to hit the red. Play it soft. If you miss it, there's not actually a lot Pang. There's not a huge amount Pang can do. But if we play it again, let's want to see.
Sure, here we go.
So we say you just never know.
Foul. Bouncing through 7.
So he could have gone around the
Could be a
black and
free
not
ball.
left the free ball.
Would
Yeah.
you believe
And
it?
the free ball.
Peng Junzhu can
Yeah, I
now
think
win.
that's what I was saying. If
Oh
he
my
missed the
goodness
black,
me.
he might have ended
What
up back
has
in the
just
top
happened
left
here?
corner and not left the free ball, right? So
But there's also a good chance he would have left the free ball. No. No.
yeah,
I was going to say, I think he hit it that hard because maybe he wanted movement on the black ball as well, and maybe get rid of that or kill that up to the top end of the table. And for one, he probably didn't think he was going to miss the red anyway. You know, one rail off the back rail, he knows he's going to hit the red. Hit it a bit harder, get some movement on the red ball. Might get some movement on the black, maybe even the pink. Might actually disrupt something because they're actually really nice for snookers. If he hits it a bit harder, maybe he creates a bit of movement, and he could create a lot more drama, especially needing 3 snookers for the other guy. So
Yeah, I reckon you're right. I reckon the main thing is he just kind of thought he'd hit it and get some movement on those balls down there. I don't think that he thought he would miss it.
yeah.
all right. I got one more. This one's a bit of fun. See if you can. I'll play this for you, and then see if you can tell me what happened. You ready?
I've done a short on this. Or maybe I didn't. I know I haven't. Oh,
Is that real?
Did you get it, Mark?
I've seen what's happened.
I believe it's real.
nah, it's not. That's not real.
Just don't know.
It might have been set up, but I don't think it's AI though or anything. For example, like it might be a setup.
I can't tell what's real and not real these days. That's that's absolutely freaky if that's real.
I think we're going to have to get her. I think we're going to have to get her on the 8 Ball FM podcast and find out.
All right, Mick, you were going to tell a story. I think is this your first frame in the Nationals that you're going to tell this story about?
Yeah,
Your first frame ever. So tell us, give us some context. What year is this?
2006 Darwin first game as a Victorian. I go out there. I look at the table. I'm playing Woodsy, obviously an amazing player. I didn't really know much at the time as well of these guys, but I look at the table. And the tables in Darwin were playing all very, very tight. You couldn't literally with your hand, you know how you put a few balls on a rail and just hit the balls down the rail and they sort of go in. If you hit it at any pace or if they're going any more than like rolling speed, they just don't go. So the tables were super tight. And I got to the table. I think Woodsy broke. Balls landed everywhere. And there was a few dead balls. And I'm like, I just don't like anything here. I don't want to push the boat out. I think the right shot here is to foul and give Woodsy 2 shots and let him have a crack, knowing the fact that there's a good chance he's got dead balls on rails and I'm going to get back to the table here because I just couldn't see an out and I knew how hard the table played. And this was my first visit at Nationals. And I'm like, my first visit, I'm actually about to foul on purpose and give away 2 shots. And I'm like, oh, I don't want to do it, but if it's the right thing, it's the right thing. And I'll ask later if it was. And I'd prefer to do the right thing out there, or rather than basically go out there, try and take on an out, miss it, and then they run a rack, and then I basically get benched or something. I'd rather take a shot on that I think that could win me the frame, and then I can learn from it. So I go ahead, I foul, I give Woodsy 2 shots, and before I know it, within a couple of minutes or minute and a half or whatever it was, he made this absolutely crazy clearance. And I'm like, oh my God, I think I must have played the wrong shot or I'm about to be benched or something. And I went up to Markin or whoever it was and I said, what do I do there? Was that the right shot? And they were saying to me, yes, you've got a foul there and you have to, what you did was actually right in our eyes. So I'm like, you know what? I can take that on board and I can feel good about it. Going out there playing my very first shot. Like I wanted to win. My very first game in Nationals, I wanted to win. Or even to just win. And to go out there and foul my very first shot, lose, and then walk away, I felt bad, but everyone said it was the right shot. And I just wanted to say that because all these new guys that are coming and playing, like I remember watching, obviously, the Nationals that were just on, watching Victoria and watching a bunch of new guys, especially like Dakota and all that. All these guys have watched us for many years. And now we can sit back and watch them. And, it's nerve wracking being out there. And you do want to win and you do want to do what's right for Victoria, or do your best for Victoria. And it was nice seeing them out there playing. But also, if you're out there, play the right shots, what you think is going to win you the frame, not what you think everybody else wants you to play, because you got to this position where you are because of how you played. And that's why you're in the team. You didn't get there because you played like Robbo or you played like Jake or you played like, someone else. You played and you got there because of who you are. So stick to your own guns, and I think you can go a long way in the sport. So yeah, my first shot at Nationals I failed and I lost. So that was the story. But
Good story. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got one more thing I wanted to cover today, which was, I guess, just a bit of a conversation about handicap events. In Victoria, there's been a couple of intermediate events and there's an amateur event coming up. And there was a great post that...
there's a newborn event coming up too.
I never played
Mark wants to see the event where you don't touch a cue for 4 months and then you play.
Now, there's a tournament coming up where if you've ever hit a ball, you're not allowed to play. Brand new players only. $100,000 for the winner.
Handicapped event too.
Anyway, Mick, you found this post on Facebook. It was written about American pool, but I think it rings really true for. It was written about an ex-pro in America talking about the problem at the Mosconi Cup of the USA, kind of continuing to lose all the time. But I think that kind of says a lot about what's happening. Certainly, like locally in Victoria, I don't know if it's happening around Australia yet, but we're seeing a bit of a trend of these intermediate events in particular.
I think the last 10 years actually, things have gotten worse. I know when I first started, all I wanted to do was play the best players and get better that way, and try and improve and try and just prove to other people that I can actually do things. This day and age, I've got a table here. Anyone that wants to play for $50 a race to 5 or 7, I'll come to my house. I'll play you every day if you want to get better. All right. I put it out there to people. That's fine. Do that. I did it. And if you want to get better, come and play the better players and learn how to get better the right way. It's okay if you're an intermediate or an amateur and you want to improve and you can play in these tournaments. That's fine. But if you want to step up and play in a pro event or go away to nationals or make multiple state sides or whatever, you've got to do your time against the better players. And you've actually got to put in the time yourself as well and do the right kind of training for it. And don't get me wrong, if you go to see Robbo or you go to see Marty, you go to see Jamie Stevens, you go to see all these guys, we, with all our experience, can give you a bunch of tips on how we made it, on what to do and all that. And I don't see a lot of that these days. I don't see a lot of people ringing me. Back in the day, I would try and I'd get a message at 10 o'clock at night or 12 o'clock at night. Oh, come down to Potters. This guy's happy to play you for a couple of $100. Bang, I'm there playing every day of the week. I'd ring Mark up again. Mark, I've got a doubles match, so-and-so want to play. And he'll be down there at 1 o'clock in the morning at Potters. And we'll finish up at 4 or 5. This is the stuff that hardens you to makes you a better player, makes you the players that we are today. And we've done our time and we've put in the effort, and I think this day and age, now that there's these bigger tournaments, your amateurs and your intermediates, and there's a lot of handicap stuff out there, we can't go to a tournament now without actually being handicapped. And, it's hard to I've never wanted to start. I've never asked for a start. I've never played someone and said, here, give me a 5-start race to 11. I remember when I first started, Brett Rogers used to towel me up all the time, races to 11. And he goes, look, I'll give you a start. I'm like, no, one day I'll get you. One day I'll get you. One day I'll get you. And then, 6 months, 8 months down the track, I was at Princess. I beat him 11-8. And I walked up to him. I said, as I shook his hand, I said, told you, I'll eventually get you. And then eventually I started winning more. And, if you want to handicap, if you want to race to 5, first to 11, you don't know where you are. If you want to play a race to 5 and you have a handicap of 2, if you win it, did you really win it? Like, at the end of the day, if you play a race to 5 off scratch and you get pumped 5-1, 5-0, 5-1, 5-1, 5-0, 5-2, eventually you'll see a trend of yourself getting better. Eventually you might get to 5-4 and you're like, you know what, I had a chance and I lost it. But you're learning something from it. You're learning, did I push the boat out too far in the end to try and win that frame? Could I have played one more safety? All these things go through your head to actually get better. But people wanting handicaps all the time now or don't really want to improve because there's just big amateur tournaments or bigger beginner tournaments or whatever. It's fine. It's good money. But at the end of the day, if you're happy with it, you're happy with it. But if you want to step up and be, a top level player, go out there and ring up these guys. If anyone out there is struggling to find a game for $50, put it on Facebook, 100, put it on 200. You'll eventually get your Thames, your me, Robbo. We'll come down and we'll play. Everybody, there's always a price. So if you can never say to somebody, oh, I'm finding it hard to get a money game, that's not true. Just up that money from 50 to 100 or 50 to 200, and you'll find that you'll get games very, very quickly. So, and if you just want to test yourself and you don't have hundreds of dollars, come down to my house. I'll play you for $50 or something like that. I'll give you the time, I'll give you the experience, and I'll give you some tips afterwards, whether you beat me or not. So I'm happy to help that way. But at the end of the day, go out there and put in the time and effort like everyone, and you'll get better. You will. It's just how bad you want it, So yeah.
Well said, Mick. Oh, let me just this post came from a guy by the name of Tanner Pruce, and he wrote this much better than I think I could have. So I'm just going to read a little bit of it, but then I'm also going to play devil's advocate. I'm going to try and play the other side of this story and just challenge you guys on some thinking here. So this is just a small part of what Tanner wrote. I'll put the link in the show notes so people can go and have a look. A tournament was never meant to protect you. It was meant to test you, to expose the gaps, to give you a reason to train harder, to push you up the mountain, not keep you at its base. The game doesn't grow when players stay the same. The game grows when players get better. That's just a taste of what he wrote, which I thought was exceptional stuff. Just kind of challenging people. There's a trend in America for handicap-based tournaments to be happening, and we're seeing more of that in Australia as well. I'm going to take the other side of the handicap debate just for a minute. I can kind of challenge you guys on your thinking just to see what your reaction is. Gary Bradshaw had a game that he streamed on YouTube against Angelo Mancuso. Ange is a Premier Division player. I think Gaz is Divi 1 or Divi 2, so they wanted to level it up a bit. And the handicap that they chose was in the style of the Hayball event that was in Melbourne. So Gary got to remove his last object ball from the table, the last one before the black. And it ended up, I think Ange won that 11-9, so it was very close. And Gazza actually went in off the black in the last frame. He was going to go to Hill, but he went in off the black to lose it 11-9. But the thing that I think is interesting about the handicap, like I'm not sure in general play, I don't think that necessarily helps Gazza, except in one sense. He gets to get to the end of a frame and pot some blacks and put some pressure on himself to finish some frames. And that's really kind of the one advantage that I can see in this handicap situation. This was just a home match. I don't know if they played for $50 or something, but it was a home match. But it was one way that got the less skilled player an opportunity to experience some pressure at a moment in the frame that they otherwise wouldn't have had if they were just playing, off scratch with no handicap at all. So I guess I just want to get your reaction on that aspect of it. And do you think there's some value in that part of it?
Well, I've experienced playing one tournament with that. I played two female players. One of them was very good and the other one could beat me off scratch. What I didn't like about it was it altered everything that we know about the game, not only defensively but offensively as well. When she was going for outs, she didn't have to worry about a bad ball. So it felt very unsatisfying watching her make clearances that she could have made even without the handicap. So instead of them being 7 out of 10, they were 9.5 out of 10. So it felt like the game was too easy. Defensively, it was a nightmare to figure out all the ins and outs of it. So for me, it's altering the game itself too much. That's what I don't like about it. I think it's very easy in sport to handicap things. Put it this way, like sports bet. Name any sport, they'll just give you a line, plus 10.5 minus, works for them. It's fair. But imagine all of a sudden if they said, all right, in this AFL Grand Final, all points scored by Geelong aren't counted, or they don't get, I don't even know how many players are on the ground at once. Was that 18 per team or
22?
something? I don't know.
22 or something?
Geelong can't play with a full forward. You know, like, what is that now? You're altering the game too much. I think for private matches like the Angelo and Gaza match, that's totally fine. I think there's good fun. Like, I think it's fun, you know, but my God, if they started bringing out tournaments to test this and trial it, leave me out. I'm going to have not one piece of that at all. I remember.
Well, I guess the extension of that argument though is the like the intermediate tournament. It's like where they're all intermediate players. So essentially you're playing against your peers. So the game is not altered. You're just not playing against the elite players, I guess. The higher level players.
The intermediate guys like your Logan and all that, they can beat you off scratch. And now all of a sudden Logan can pot 6 balls and his dodgy one over there that's got 2 of my balls around it that I can't get to. That doesn't exist for him. It's very, very hard.
I'm trying to ignore that situation. So don't have a handicap where you take a ball off table, but I'm just talking about,
okay,
I guess the handicap tournament. So the high level players are just not allowed to enter. So all of the players are essentially playing against their peers. So they do get to experience in normal frame conditions, potting blacks under pressure, getting a deep run into a tournament, perhaps getting to a semi-final or a final and feeling the pressure of trying to win an event. Is there advantage in that? And then if there is, then how do you continue to motivate those players to push up to the elite tournaments then?
I think it's a great tournament. I watch parts of it, and like you said, you're experiencing, you're getting to see players who normally lose around maybe the last 32 or last 16. All of a sudden, they're in a quarters, semis, final. You know, fewer tables in the room. Like when you're playing in the Geelong Open and you get to the quarters, and all those other tables aren't really running, and then down to the semis and the final, and all the lights go off except your table. These players are now starting to get to experience that, and they're seeing it's actually not as easy as what it may look like from at home on the couch behind your phone. So it's great that they're getting to experience that, but I just hope that they realize that there's a bigger world outside of that. That's the small pond, you know. And if you want to get better, try and get better and not hope that the world turns on the better players and starts having shorter races, timed matches, smaller tables, bigger pockets. You know, like you can't bring the top players down to try and make the intermediates closer. They're supposed to rise. You know, I don't know what's going to happen though. Especially when you're talking at like a national level, like the nationals is the other than traveling outside of Australia, that's the pinnacle. That's the highest. If you're competing at the Open Nationals, prepare to accept that you're going to get feedback, criticism, judged, and all that, because you're playing at the pinnacle event. You're now competing with the big boys, with no handicaps, all that stuff is removed, and you're playing for high stakes. So be prepared to cop anything and everything from left, right, and center. There's not many arenas that your intermediate players can step into that's our arena, nationals. That's the very highest.
Mm.
Every other tournament, Geelongs, Albury's, Berries, all these things, they're designed for anyone and everyone. That's why they're best of 5 non-seeded random draws, to give everyone a fair crack at the chook raffle, and that's fine. So we don't complain about those things. But if you want to go to nationals, or if you want to play at big guns, or if you want to play at that Slate Open event where it's race to 11 double elimination, or the Western Nationals when that was on, all these things, you just got to be prepared to cop anything and everything. And it's brutal, but the brutality will breed toughness. It will breed champions. The few people who are strong enough to break through that brutality can become champions. Yeah, look like someone like Jack Green, Sean Dempsey, Joshua Hands. These guys, I've never heard them complain actually about anything. I actually don't hear them complain about anything. They're actually quite tough, and that's why those guys are breaking through. Daniel Porter, never hear a complaint out of him. You've got probably 4 or 5 guys who are going to absolutely dominate soon, because they're the ones who are breaking through. They're going to be your next Jakes and Bens and Rusties and them, and everyone else will get left behind. So you got to work out, are you going to try and grab onto them or what they're doing and break through, or just continue to hope that everything gets handicapped and easier and, sunshine and rainbows and fluffy bunnies and all that, because that's not how the world works. Because then you're going to be like America and the Mosconi Cup, where they've just got riddled with their handicap system over there. And now they've got to travel over to Europe, where they're tough as nails in Europe. Their Q Sports and everything background over there is pretty brutal. And they're just breeding competitive, beasts over there. And America's getting softer. And look what's happening.
Yeah, let me give you one more contrast. I see pros and cons to each of these scenarios. One is we all play in a league, in a winter competition, EDPL, DDPL combined, where the teams are handicapped. There is a cap on the number of players who are allocated a number of points based on their skill level, and there is a cap on the number of total points that a team can have. So you can't stack any one team with all of the best players, for example. That's what it's designed to do. And what that creates is a quite even competition, but it sacrifices the legacy of a long-term team. For example, Mick, you played at the green tables. I've played in some of these teams in the past as well. You get a team together that's a really good team, and there's some young up-and-comers in it, and then those up-and-comers get really good, but because of that, your team blows the points cap, and you can't stay together as a team anymore. So the opportunity to create a legacy of a team sticking together for a long period of time, that kind of goes away, and it means that people bounce around teams.
It's more just the green table's name now, and not the players because of that reason.
Yeah, that's right. So players kind of bounce between teams every year as their point allocations fluctuate based on form or what's happened over the seasons. So that's one type of handicap. And then the other type of handicap, so I think what will happen in if the ultimate pool leagues come to Australia, what they do in America is everyone has a Fargo rating. There'll be something like that. And then you can put together whatever team you like. Like we could all play in a team and we could stack it with all of the players that we liked, but we would be at a frame count disadvantage depending on what happened with the other team, right? So you might end up with a team stacked full of Australian players, but they might start 3 or 4 or 5 frames behind in a match. So it's a different type of handicap. Pardon me?
10-pin bowling, when I used to play it, us 3 were playing against another 3. If your average was 180 and Mark's was 190 and mine was 170, whatever, we'd actually have to give, like if the other team had averages like 160, 130 and 140, we'd actually have to give them 80 pins head start or 90 pins head start or something like that. And at the end, like you could bowl 200, Mark could bowl 200, I could bowl 200. And if they happen to bowl a couple of 180s, between them and the other guy bowls a 170 or something, we could actually still lose, based on, for handicaps. It's, it did work. It does work because that way I can actually play with anyone I want. I can play with a 200, handicap bowler, but we just got to give away a lot of pins, and we actually have to play well just about every single night. So
I think that can work in an open league where there's no divisions, but you can't do that in Prems because it no longer becomes Prems. When I play in Premier Division, I want to play against Premier players. I want to try and shoot. For me, let's say a goal is 70%. I think in the current state of Premier Division in Melbourne, if you can shoot above 60% is actually pretty solid. It's actually really hard. If you shoot over 65, even 70% in Prems is harder than Nationals right now. It's really hard. And you can walk away from that going, geez, you know what? I've played some really good stuff. But if you're playing in Prems, the three of us put in a team with Gus, Bowen, and Tem. All right, we're going to be stacked. And now we play against, 6 second div players, but now all of a sudden we've got to give them 13 start race to 19. We're not playing Prems anymore. And you almost feel like you're just trying to defend the whole night. You're behind the whole night, except you're just trying to pip them at the end. You're not playing Prems. And I think it's fine for an open league. Hey, we're going to start a league. Anyone can play anyone. We're going to use the Fargo system. Let's give it a go. I could play that. But when I'm signing up to play Prems, I'm playing Prems. The same as when a third div signs up to play third div. They don't want to see Mick rock up with Gus and then two people who can't play at all and trying to rort the system somehow, and they've got to try and beat Mick and Gus,
I would never do that.
You saw what you spoke about the other night. But you know what I'm saying is these guys didn't sign up to play that. They signed up to play people at their standard. So that's why good reason why I think we have divisions.
Yeah, I think what I like about the way that it's structured now, where the kind of team is, it's like a salary cap, I guess, effectively, but we're not paying players money, so it's a different way of capping the skill level of a team. And the fact that you end up roaming around, for me, I've probably played for nearly 30 years in those leagues. And when you kind of switch between all the teams, you get to know everyone in the entire league because you've played alongside so many of them, and you build this rapport and these relationships that you otherwise wouldn't get if you just stayed with one group of six or seven guys for the whole time. So
if you did want to build that legacy team for one in a points handicap system, if you're playing in a team that's dominating every year, the system's out. But if you do want to do that, start 10% under the cap, knowing that you've got these two 18-year-old guns who are shooting 50% now, but next year will be 60, 65 and so on, leaving yourself that room to grow. Yeah. But I think as well, like the Prem Div last year, we've got a points committee that myself, Mick, and 3 other very experienced players are a part of, and we just assigned everyone a points basically off results and everything like that. But at the end of the day, common sense and judgment, and we know all these players. And the ladder last season, I didn't play last season, but I was keeping track of it a lot. I'm very interested in it because I think it's a very good league, very competitive, like I said. And I think the team that finished second last in the last round still could have made finals. So the team that finished second last, even the team that finished last was competitive, and they were taking scalps. The team that finished last, it came down to the very last week. So that means that we're doing a lot right with that. When you just sprinkle in a little bit of common sense, eh?
Yeah, and I guess the other lovely part about it is even if you're like most teams kind of have 1 or 2 low point players, I'll say, less skilled, but the format is such that every player plays every other player in the opposing team. So you still get to play, you two guys, and then players in the middle and players that are lower skilled. So you get a real mix of challenges every night.
I just thought of something. What if we had the same system, but there was never any draws? If it was a draw on the night, then either you do you pick your top 3 and have a 3 versus 3 playoff, or you have a Scotch doubles, best of 3 or 1 frame to win the night, something like that. Maybe they
a Scotch
add
doubles,
something like that in.
A Scotch doubles, just best of 1 with 2 nominated players is good. I remember in snooker. Remember in snooker, if it's a draw, like your number 1,
Player gets an extra frame, yeah.
would play an extra frame.
Yeah. I reckon they could trial that. Maybe I wonder if people would like that rather than just get a draw on the night. There'll always be a win with any 2 people playing for the win for the night.
Well, you need an odd number, right? If you played 3 Scotch doubles matches, then every player in the team would get to play one more.
Okay, yeah, there you go.
match.
There you go, Marty. That's why you're the brains, eh? That's actually really good. I like that. There's a league actually that I filled in for mixed team one night. Probably one of the most enjoyable nights of pool I've ever had. I was laughing and joking and carrying on with everyone so much. And the format was fantastic. I don't know who's come up with it. I think, was it Nelson runs it or something, Mick?
And Nelson runs it. It's played at Frecker on a Tuesday night. Steve Brosnahan and all that, they run it. They do a really good job. And it only goes for an hour and a half. You're there, you start at 7 and you're out there by 8:30, 8:45.
We're out by there by 8:30. It's a 4-man team, and you play on 2 tables, and you play, what is it, like 4 singles or 4 singles matches or 3 singles matches and 2
3 doubles or something.
Yeah, you play some singles matches and some Scotch doubles matches, and you're sitting out for no more than like 1 frame. And quite often when you play a frame, you're up again. Like you're often playing.
If you're sitting out longer than 8 to 10 minutes, then
really good. You got in a lot of frames. Because you're in a 4-man team, how you performed heavily impacted your team's results. And playing the Scotch doubles as well, I thought was really enjoyable. I actually plan on playing in that league next season. I know you do too, Marty. Hey,
Does Mick know you're recruiting me?
He does now. So we actually plan on playing next season, putting in a fun team. And I'm actually really looking forward to that. Yeah.
I'm now on the committee.
It's going to be weird for you coming up against a team sponsored by 8 Ball FM, Mick.
I'll wear this on Tuesday night. I'll wear this tomorrow night.
Anyway, there's some other good formulas out there, and I'd keep an eye on that one. If Prem's use that formula at some point in the near future, I think it might be worth a go. It's very good.
How about Marty? Maybe you put a poll out there saying exactly what I mentioned before about maybe adding the doubles in, whether it is just 1 frame or whether you do it best of 3, so everyone actually plays, and that way there's no draws on a night. I don't know how that might affect their system or whatever, but it might add something different.
You know what you do? You do a compulsive, like you play those 3 regardless of if it's a draw or not. You just play them. So at the end of the night, you have 3 Scotch doubles matches, and then it's always an odd number.
So if it's a draw, it comes down to another 3 frames minimum.
You play them no matter what, even if one team has stomped the other team, because the problem is then frames played and not played and for and against could be a little bit out by teams that are getting draws as opposed to not draws. Like imagine if it comes down to that team can make the top 4 if it's a draw and then they play another 3 frames, or like it might be in something weird. And also like what time it finishes on a night, it might add half an hour maybe. Don't know.
What if those frames don't count?
Oh, like
the Scotch double. It's like New Zealand. Not like New Zealand. They just don't exist.
So it would be 18 all, but one team would actually have the win. They'd get the 4 points. The other team would get no points.
Well, yeah. I don't know. I'm just coming up with this, and we can obviously work it out.
I think a 7th round where you play 3 Scotch doubles matches just every night. I think that'd be the highlight of the night. I reckon that'd be.
I think it'd be a lot of fun because there's a lot of tactics here, right? So if you guys are in the same team, do you play Scotch doubles together, or do you try and pair a top player and a wicker player?
Well, this is a thing. This is a thing.
And does one play with 6, 2 with 5 and 3 and 4, or so on, or can you decide at the end of the night?
No, I think you decide.
I think it'd be good.
You decide
I
on the
think
I think
night.
decide
Yeah.
decide would be fun.
Decide
would be
on the
fun.
night. So
But-
basically, every night is like finals in a way. It'll actually be quite fun, and it might, people get to play Scotch doubles with each other, learn off each other, and
Yeah.
imagine both teams winning and losing, and all of a sudden it comes down to one large Scotch doubles for the night.
Yeah.
The crowd, everyone will be crowding around that one. Rather than getting a
So-
draw and then going home, I think there might be some merit to it.
So it's a race to 20. So it can be 2019. You play a 7th round and it's 3 Scotch doubles. That's probably only going to add 20 minutes onto the night because you can play 2 of them. And as soon as one of them finishes, the other one's on straight away. In Prems, you're probably only talking 15, 20 minutes.
And would you
Sounds
rather
fun.
that than go home with a draw?
Well, it depends if you're the underdog. Sometimes you take a draw.
I think it'd be fun to just like both teams blind right out there. So they write at their Scotch doubles pairings in order 1, 2, and 3, but you can't see what the other team does, and then you both kind of
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that's
Shut
exactly
up.
that's fine.
Team ABC plays against team 1, 2, 3. Yeah.
yeah.
Well, if
Sounds like a bit of fun anyway.
if we keep talking about it and do a poll and get a written petition and everything like that, in 20 years, it just might happen.
And if Mick runs the league, then where you go.
I've done it before.
The problem is, I feel like with making a change with something like this, the way they've done it for so long, they can get a little bit scared of change, and it feels like a long process. Where if it was just the 3 of us on the committee, we have a conversation like this and we go, "Hey, this is pretty good. You know what? Let's just send a message out to all the Prems players in a bulk thing. Send a message out, hey, this is our idea. Wanting some feedback. What do you think?" If 2/3 of the people like it, we go ahead.
Yeah, I reckon you don't want to just get to 51%. I think you need to get like a clear majority. So yeah, I like 2/3. 2/3 sounds good.
You could even have a rating of 1 to 5. How much do you like this? And if all the answers are anywhere from 3 to 5 in the positive bracket, then you go ahead with it.
I can't see actually a lot of people saying no to it, to be honest with you, other than the only excuse they'll have, it will finish too late. Well, you know what? If you
Yeah,
go
finish
home
too
at
late,
11:30 or 11 o'clock, it's not really going to make a difference. If you go home at 12 o'clock or 11:45, it's not going to make a difference. I
Add
don't
20
care if you're going to get up.
minutes.
Yeah, but it's a good 20 minutes.
Yeah.
It's a fun 20 minutes. It's a 20
Mm.
minutes that I want to happen every night, every week. I look forward to it being a draw now.
Let's make a league where it's
No,
just
no,
Scotch doubles.
Not if it's a draw, Mick. You play these every night. Every night, no matter
Robo's
what.
saying.
Oh, I'd like that, but it could go too long for the whingers out there.
But if you think about it from an admin point of view, you've now got like separate sections for a 7th round, if it happens or not, ladder results and points. Like it's there's no consistency from a stats and an admin side. Whereas if you just make it the same every week, this is how it goes.
Yeah, I like it. I agree. I'm just trying to be the other guy here as well.
Let's put a poll out. We'll see what the
viewers
say, and if they like it, we'll try and put a bit of meat on the bone, figure out how it might work, and lobby the leagues to kind of give it a crack.
Yeah, in Prems. I mean, the other lower divisions actually have doubles anyway. Why can't we?
Scotch doubles is great. I'd almost rather the whole thing be Scotch doubles. Play the whole Prems night in Scotch doubles.
Yeah.
Be more
Premier
fun.
doubles, we'll call it.
Prem doubles.
Prem doubles. I'm all done, gents. Anything more from you?
Nah, it's all good. It's a nice
Have we
quick
talked
hour.
2.5 hours.
2.5 hours on
Nothing.
nothing.